I'm in lovely Marian Keyes' kitchen in Dunleary, just outside Dublin. Marian, thank you for letting the pool into your lovely home.
Thank you for coming. I'm so honoured you're here. I love the pool. I really, really do. And I'm so thrilled to be a little part of it. Thank you.
So Marian, The Woman Who Stole My Life's out in paperback this week, and it's this week's bedtime book club.
Thank you.
It's vintage Marian, isn't it? It's Marian at top form.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I decided I was going to have fun with this book. Because the previous book had been very dark about a woman who suffers from depression. And I wanted to be in a light frame of mind. So my character, Stella, well, she's older than any of the other people I've written about. And she's just a very optimistic, upbeat, not a Pollyanna, pain in the arse type, but just, she will always see the good in a situation. And also I wanted to write a love story about what it's like to be a woman who's no longer in their 20s or 30s, but who falls passionately in love and is surprised that those feelings are still readily accessible kind of later in life. And I've always been a bit mortified about writing love stories because I feel very judged that that I won't be taken seriously. But anyway, I thought this time, feck it, I don't care. I'm going to write the book I really want to write. And I want to write about this incredible chemistry between these two people who are actually very not suited. So I had a great time. I really, really enjoyed writing this book.
And given the things that happened to Stella, I mean, Stella is one of your, an ordinary woman that extraordinary things happen to. But given the really extraordinary thing that happens to her, how do you pronounce it? Guillain-Barré?
I pronounce it Guillain-Barré disease, but but it's French, so I think we should be going Guillain-Barré. I don't know how to do that, and also I'd feel idiotic saying it like that. But yeah, it's a very rare disease. But I'll tell you, about 12 years ago, I have two friends, and over the course of a weekend, one of their sisters who lives in Chicago got Guillain-Barré disease, and another friend who lives in Dublin, her dad got it. And it was just the most incredible coincidence. And it stuck with me, because how random life is and how good things can happen out of the blue and bad things can happen out of the blue. But it's a very strange and cruel disease in that you shut down everything, every muscle eventually stops working. And in Stella's case, only her eyelashes or her eyelids worked.
Eyelashes are really in trouble. Yeah.
Yes, moved. And but it's fully recoverable from, which I didn't want to write about something that wasn't. So there's a lot to be overcome. No, it's not. Yeah. But is it ever?
No, exactly. We were talking earlier about speaking human.
Yes.
And I think your book's back in the kind of the dawn of chick lit, which of course we don't say chick lit anymore. Nobody likes it. No, that's not good. But back in the dawn that you were the first person who wrote human.
Thank you so
Who wrote those things that were in your head.
Yes. Yeah, and it's funny because, I hadn't a clue. I had no aspirations to be a writer. I'd never done creative writing courses or anything like that. But what I felt was that there were no novels about women like me. This was 1994 I started writing. And I felt it was all those kind of very, 80s values of kind of money and power and boardroom takeovers. And I was living this messy life where I earned almost nothing. All my relationships were train wrecks. I spent my phone bill money on shoes,
You're still doing that.
I am still doing that, yes. Yeah, and that even in women's magazines, there was nothing that felt like me. There were no people to identify with. So I just thought, I'm going to write a book that I'd like to read. And it's funny because, being Irish, we have a national inferiority complex, and, we've lived in the shadow of Britain, and we've always, I learned that, British things are far better. So I'm surprised that I had the courage to write very conversationally, in Irish slang. And I suppose what I also did was I was really honest about my shameful feelings. Like, you know, when you have a really lovely friend and you're both a bit fat, and then suddenly she loses like half a stone, and then a stone, and like suddenly she's fabulous. And instead of and you're going, that's great. But inside you're thinking, no, don't be thin.
Yeah,
let's be fat together, the fat losers together, you know. And so I was able to kind of give my characters those awful thought processes that we all have, and that we all think we're the only one to have.
You're a Twitter animal, aren't you? Well, you've got 92,000 followers on Twitter.
You see, oh God, I love Twitter. Because my publishers were always at me, you know, to be doing, they said social media is the way to go. And I was like, no, I don't know, I thought it would take up too much time. And I was right.
Down the Twitter hole for 3 hours.
Oh my God. Like, I love conversation. And the thing is, I don't use Twitter for work. I mean, and I have the crack. You know, I have such a laugh. And people, I find...
Yeah, well, you're the creator of Pole Dark Bingo. I mean...
Yeah, but that's, again, that was born of the Twitter community. I feel very much part of a community, and it's very, we wish each other well, it's very, there's no meanness on it. So
you don't get any problem with trolling on Twitter, do you?
I get the odd bit, I do. The woman who stole my life was part of a radio book club, an Irish one. And I just went on Twitter, you know, as usual, one afternoon for, you know, a bit of crack. And suddenly there was all these men, like, saying, what are they doing reviewing pathetic chicklet on... And I, you know, like, so there was a fair amount of misogynistic stuff coming my way. And I did feel like saying, well, actually, if they were reviewing a book that was written by a man, would you be so fucking annoyed? No. Like, would you kind of direct hate their way?
And were they subtweeting you? Were they putting you
in? They
in
were putting my name in it so that I knew.
Nice.
So, yeah, lovely. Yeah, and I just think, what kind of complete knob are you that you feel good about spreading your vitriol? So I really despise people who would do that. You know, who would let somebody know,
it's
hey, I'm slagging you. By the way, just need you to know.
It's those people who, I hate those people who need you to know that someone has said a bad thing about you, because I just thought you should know.
Yeah, why? Like, why?
My life is not better for knowing that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I really don't need to know. So, but mostly Twitter for me is an extremely happy place. And the only thing is, it's funny, having been told to do it for work, I don't really bring work into it at all. And so when people say, hello, can you follow me so that we can talk about doing an interview? I think, no. Yeah. And so I just say, I'm here for the crack.
Yeah, email my publicist.
Yes, yes.